What's up, guys? It's your boy James, aka 68J, coming to you on this amazing Saturday, and I'm joined by the one and only, the legendary man, the myth, the legend, Will Fix. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, man.
I'll tell you what, I'm super excited. Guys, my apologies for being a little bit late. We had StreamYard must be overloaded with traffic right now. We were trying about 5 or 6 times, couldn't get on, but we are here. And I'm super excited to have my friend Will Fix on. We had the first time we actually connected was absolutely incredible. I got so much feedback. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing so good. I can't stand it.
Well, let's get right into it. I definitely appreciate you being here. Right now, it seems like one of the hottest subjects right now going around on X and on other social platforms is this settlement talk because of this notice that came out to Judge Annalisa Torres. If you don't mind, I think you got that in front of you. Can you kind of go over that and maybe make some sense? Because I think the narrative right now of people thinking that 102, that 102 million that they see there is like, okay, we're going into a settlement. What does that mean to you? And if you can kind of go over that a little bit and break it down.
Yeah, what this looks like to me is it looks like a response from the court to a request that Ripple made. So Ripple basically went to the court and they said, hey, man, check out this Terraform Labs deal that you did. So we want you reduced their penalty down, based on their circumstance, and we're kind of similar. So reduce ours. And they're coming back and saying, no, that's not apples to apples. And so they broke that down and they're saying that's not the case. And at the very end, it says that they're saying, Ripple compares to Terraform. They literally say the penalty to the amount of defendant's gross sales, arguing the court should impose the same as Terra Labs, for Ripple. But then they're coming back and they're saying, look, that's not apples to apples. Ripple avoids comparing the Terraform settlement penalty to the gross profits. And so all they're doing is saying, look, that's not apples to apples. And if we did it that way, the SEC here asks the court to disgorge results in the much larger figure and a 1.2 or $102.6 million penalty than the 10 million ceiling that they're asking for. So basically, this is a response to Ripple saying, this is what we would do. So this isn't the stated figure. I think that's still for them to argue over or to try to get. But this is kind of like, well, if we did go by that, we couldn't because you don't match up. So the much larger figure of 102.6 is what we would rather do, so to speak. But that's not a settled figure.
Okay. Do you think that means that maybe we could be coming to some type of, is this like, okay.
Yeah. Cause doesn't that look like to me in that letter that's basically saying that would be the top limit? Cause why would they mention a limit?
Right.
So Ripple can pay that, man. We can be done with this. And don't you think though? I mean, when I look at this, I don't know, the market seems to hold up on this.
Yeah.
Or we're at least accusing the market to be holding up on this with XRP.
Right.
And could be the banks and everybody, could be the big wigs are waiting.
Well, let me ask you this, Will. And yeah. I feel like we've become pretty good buddies, and we talked a little bit off line here, and seemed like we came to agreements. Do you think that it's going to disappoint a lot of people? Because one of the things that I brought up to you backstage is, okay, let's say they sign a check. Let's say they asking 102, Ripple said 10, they come somewhere around $50-60 million, whatever. The check gets written. Now all of a sudden, what happens, Will, and I hate to say this, and I don't want to piss people off, but all of a sudden XRP and Ripple is just left alone, and we're just like everybody else waiting to see what's going on with the market. We're waiting for partnerships, we're waiting for utility to be embraced. We're just like XLM, XDC in a sense that we're waiting for the next step. And I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed, because just like what Judge Annalisa Torres, when she said XRP is not a security, yeah, we had a pump up to 90 some cents. People were thinking $3, $5, but people didn't realize all it is that we were just being left alone with that particular issue and had to go fight, other issues. And so once this is all said and done and the smoke clears, we're just left alone. We're just Operating
Maybe
like
so.
anybody else.
Yeah. And I don't know if I feel that way because in the past everything's kind of been a nothing burger or just a
Right.
pop and then we're right back. But because honestly, there's still not extreme clarity. So we have clarity as far as the few aspects of the lawsuits that have been presented.
Right.
But is there clarity for institutions to move in? Is there clarity for banks to be able to work with, crypto and things like that? So those things are still out there. But I'll tell you, this is a perfect lead in, man, to another topic of XRP, and that is with Japan.
Okay, let's get right into it,
man, because Japan has clarity. They could give a rat's about the SEC,
right?
Because it's not in their country. So their country has already given clarity. They have waved it all in. And their culture over there, I was studying on their culture a little bit. Their culture is, we're more independent. We all want to do our own thing.
Okay.
And Japan's not that way, man. There's this, I forget what the phrase is. It's like moe, or there's a phrase that they use in Japan that they're more about the collective or the community.
Right.
So where one goes, they all want to go,
Okay.
which is cool. Like they're really heartfelt. I had a friend that lived in Japan for years, and he said, if you're at a big table and you're all eating and one person gets a little bit upset, he said the whole table will stop eating. And I thought, God, this is, they'll stop eating and wait.
Wow.
And they want that person to be okay. And I thought, God, man, isn't that cool?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Because what we do as Americans, we're like, well, they just need to get over it.
Right.
Come on, quit being a baby.
Right. Exactly.
But because that's the atmosphere over there. I mean, we got a new report. It's not even a new report. It's a 2018 report talking about 80% of the banks in 2018. Now we've had more banks sign on. 80% of the banks, what did they do? They're partnered with Ripple. So it's way above. There's at least 3 more banks that I saw when Zach Rector covered this. He was like, well, there's 3 more banks there. I was like, well, who knows how many? We would have to go back and track from 2018. So what is that, 6 years?
Right.
Okay. So it's probably more. And the projection from SBI, the CEO of SBI, was it'll be 100% this year. Okay. So them using XRP, okay, that's one thing. That's not, the total answer. So what are they gonna use it for? Well, one of the other recent developments was HashKey DX, partnering with, was it SBI Holdings, with an objective to tokenize things. And this company is huge. They've already worked with, was it 24 banks? Let's see. They've already worked with 4,000 different companies, 23 banks.
Wow.
In tokenization of supply chain. And so I was trying to wrap my head around that, because what does that mean? To tokenize the supply chain. Why is that a benefit? Well, currently you have people, if you don't have a tokenized supply chain, what you have is a bunch of phone calls you got to make.
Right.
So let's say you got 10 suppliers for you're making widgets, and you got 10 different pieces of your widget. So you're going to get on the phone, and if you get something that's not there, hey, we don't have these parts. You usually find out in production. Well, we don't have any of these parts. So then they're contacted. Oh, those parts were supposed to be in. So then they're making a phone call and they're checking on the parts. Right. Now, if they have to find another supplier for that part because of a problem they didn't know about, weather condition they didn't know about, a broken down semi, I mean, it can be tons of things, right?
Right.
Then you see how slow that is. That's so slow. You found out after the fact. Now you're trying to fix something that's broke, and you weren't in the stream of things going on. Okay, and then let's look at the demographics. I looked up to see, so what's so special about Japan? Why the big news on tokenization? Well, Japan's about the size of California.
Wow.
Okay. and it's 14,000 islands.
That's
Now,
crazy.
it's somewhere between, I've seen two reports, using Wikipedia and things. 260 are inhabited, 260 islands, up to 450 islands inhabited was the two figures I came up with.
Okay.
But I mean, if it's 100 islands, think of that, 100 places, right? Now there's 4 main islands. So let's just go with 4 main islands. In the 4 main islands of Japan, 80% of all of Japan is land you cannot use. It's steep mountains. So now go to California, take 20% of California. That's the amount of land you have. However, it's not all in one spot, man. It's spread out over islands. It's separated by water. On the islands, they have trains. They use trucks, cars. They have to use boats and planes. So it's a worst case scenario as far as logistics. If you're a manufacturer, unless you have, unless you're Silicon Valley and you have everything right in the same spot, that's convenient. Well, Japan's not that way.
Right.
So in tokenization, what they do is they'll GPS the trucks, the ships, the packages, and then those are associated with the tokenization of all the items. So you got 10 pieces of a widget, they'll tokenize this company's pieces of the widget, this company. We got 10,000 here, 5,000 here. This is the production line. So the job of those companies is we instill in the tokenization and the representation on the blockchain of our product. We put in what we have. Then as it's put on a truck, it's followed through GPS. Now imagine you now have a computer system that you look at and you have all of your suppliers on there and all maybe your backup suppliers, and you can see the stuff moving. So you can solve problems big time. It's been stuck here for 2 hours. Well, you're the first one to find out.
Right.
Why is it stuck there? Well, there was a wreck on the interstate, so that truck's not coming. So if you have an ability to reroute, fine. So here's the next problem though. So now you got all of that complication. Well, who's going to teach you to tokenize your stuff? What company? They're not going to tokenize it themselves. Were they going to hire an IT department? They're going to start to try to figure that out and then buy GPS devices. Well, no, you don't have to. You have HashKey DX. So think this company comes in. Okay. Well, now let's say you're a new startup. You're like, hey, I can make a piece of a widget, but how do I get involved? Well, conveniently, XRP donated 1 billion XRP to help startups and to teach all of the people of Japan how to do this.
Right.
So when you put it together and you see these little outbreaks of news, it's almost abstract. But when you put it all together, you see a ton of energy in these massive companies putting together to convert the entire country of Japan, 4th largest by GDP, maybe 5th. I had somebody say they might be the 5th. I'm okay. They're huge. No, right. Nevertheless, here you got this massive company that's going to be, now think of this. Think of the ledger, how much money is coming on the ledger when you say 100% of Japan, then the tokenizing of assets, the moving of supply chain. I mean, my God, man, that is so enormous because it's everything. Right. You remember the statements that people would make, all the money. I'm like, this is the news that's coming to us. I'm just putting it together. We didn't create this news. So this settlement, it may or may not happen, but it's probably not going to be the instigator of mass adoption. What's the instigator of mass adoption? Mass adoption. And what is all this news on Japan? That's mass adoption, man.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
I mean, this whole entire country is going with this thing. And it's not like they're playing games and just saying, well, that would be fun to do. Right. If we ever got around to it. I mean, they're pushing everything towards that direction.
And I think even though it's super huge, I think, you know, a lot of people still look at America and the issues that we're having. And I think that once that happens here, that's going to be the thing that really sparks the price, in my opinion. I think Japan is huge. I think it definitely will play a part. And I think what we were talking about with the settlement, if nothing else, it may bring some of the partnerships and some of the things that are being done behind the scenes to the forefront. And I think that might be actually bullish for the price of XRP.
That makes great sense. Yeah, because I could see, like, if you're one corporation and I'm the other, and me and you are talking, and then we go, hey, they got that over with. You know, we probably want to be the first ones to save money, because then we're the first ones to make the most profit, because then we're the first ones to offer a better price. Then we're going to get more customers.
Well, also, look at this. Well, I want your opinion on this. They're looking at Japan. Some of the things that you're saying right now, just like you saw it, I think a lot of these American institutions see the same thing. A lot of the financial institutions out here, they're probably saying, okay, you know what? When Bitcoin ETFs came out, we were all trying to be better than the other. We are all fighting for position. Well, if Ripple's the only non-security digital asset, and now it's over, I want first movers advantage. I want to get in this thing and gobble up and do it. And I think what happens is you start getting that competition one, because they are seeing. See, a lot of times people don't realize things don't typically happen first here in the U.S. We're typically slow to adopt what's happening around the world. So if they start seeing these institutions and it's working, and I'm sure someone's got a friend in Japan, and and they're going to be having these meetings and saying, look, we want to get at the forefront of this thing before everyone else start jumping on with XRP ETFs or whatever else could happen. I think the fact that this ruling, if it does nothing else, it starts bringing people out of the shadows.
Yeah. And two, we had spoke about Andy Sheckman. He's a big gold and silver guy. And one of the statements he says that I love is, he says, price is the biggest distraction when he's talking about gold and silver and what it's going to be, that it's a big distraction. And think of the price of XRP. You want to talk about a massive distraction. To be able, it's not a stock, it's a token. But for lack of a better form, it is a stock, as far as I'm buying a share of a company.
Right.
And so people might want to argue with that, but I personally believe, well, just as a side note, that stock market is, the handwriting's on the wall. It's going to be gone. Company would rather tokenize. Why? Because if we get clarification and pull out from the SEC, we can tokenize a company instead of going with stocks and bypass all the BS.
Yep.
We don't have to do all this crap with the New York Stock Exchange. We can just tokenize, but price is the big distraction on XRP. And I know we're all concerned about price, but the flip of the switch is a multiple flip of the switch, is exactly what you were just saying, man. Here you got these companies waiting, and they're waiting because they want to be the first one to get the advantage, because the advantage is going to give them the better case scenario to offer to the public and grow their base. So there is a huge race going on. Now imagine that same thing with banks, because instead of billions of dollars that they spend in paying for fees for cross-border payments, they're going to reduce it down to almost nothing.
That's right.
That's a ton of cash left over when you switch to that. So the race is going to be on. Here's another thing that is something to imagine. The companies that do cross-border, they got the Nostro and Vostro accounts. So they do, and the reason they have that is because the old SWIFT system is, 3 to 5 days, and then unless there's big problems, and then you have, they've had up to several weeks to settle money.
Right.
Well, so here's the problem with that. You may even receive the money, but until you get clarity of the deal is over, you can't use it. So they have these accounts so that when they send the money's on the way. So it's not settled. Well, there's also money on the way to them. So think of, if you're receiving money in your home, would you rather be paid a little bit every day or some all at once? Well, if you're paid a little bit every day and you got to pay out every day, if I'm going to stack the money up and it's going to take me 5 days to get all my money, I need 5 days worth of money to send out, because it's not all settled. You see what I mean? I mean, we're waiting 5 days. So we got, say I do an average of $1 billion a day.
Right.
Well, I need $5 billion to settle in 5 days. I'm going to have $5 billion stacked up in my settlement funds.
Right.
Well, as soon as you go with XRP, you don't necessarily have that, you know. Now they're still going to hang on to XRP because they're going to be using it to send and receive, but you're not going to need days worth. So you're going to free up a ton of money.
That's right.
So if I'm a company, man, if me and you had a company, me and you were partners, and I'm like, hey, bud, you know, we got all this money in these Vostro Nostro accounts. And as soon as you get the idea, you're going to free that cash up. I mean, me and you are going to start looking at yachts, you know.
That's right.
Right? We're going to go, when we
right.
free that money up, we can fund this new thing, fund that thing. I don't know, create a bonus program.
Right.
That money then doesn't have to sit there for settlement. It can go active. And so when people talk about flip of the switch, you know, it's not one switch. It's just going to be this race to save money, to use money. And okay, so what me and you had talked a little bit in corresponding questions about what we thought on, you know, black swan events and you know, what might happen, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Well, one of the motivating factors that I think will impact crypto in a positive fashion, some of the negative news infects crypto in a positive fashion.
Right.
Inflation is going to impact crypto in a positive way, you know, because that side sucks and this side's being good. So where's the money going to flow? I mean, there, you know, that's basically it.
Right.
People pull money out where it's going bad and stick it in where it's going good. Right now, the environment is that we're sitting on the precipice of the bull run. And right at this same time, we have horrible market conditions, the bond market, the interest rates. The Fed's going to lose no matter what they do.
Yeah.
They either embrace the suck and do nothing, or they can print money and delay it and have super inflation later.
Right.
So they always choose to go with super inflation. All countries do, because why embrace the pain when you can delay the pain?
That's right.
That's going to impact crypto in a positive fashion. So what do we have here, to me, is a setup that the money system now and the stock market system now, it's in trouble. The housing market, all of those things are in trouble.
That's right.
What's not in trouble and growing? The crypto market.
That's right.
It's not in trouble and it's growing, and it's sitting here on a bull run. Right. So my opinion, I mean, I get freaked out, excited. I go, oh my God, this is getting ready to, you know, we talk about it now in hope, but we're going to be sitting on mounds of money from our investments in crypto. Yeah. And we're going to be looking at this and going, my God, it happened.
Right.
You know, and I can't wait for that day.
Yeah.
So the distraction of, it's not a distraction, man. I heard Zach Rector go, it's 2 for $1, 50 cents at XRP. It's 2 for $1.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and it's funny because I think in the early days of crypto was created to solve a lot of problems, a lot of issues that were foreseen here in our financial system and really globally. And the thing that's exciting for me, been around since 2017, is we're in this bull run, and is people and companies in the world they're more bullish on crypto than ever before, and now you start to see all these issues come to fruition. You know, whether it's bank issues, whether it's government issues, whether it's manipulation, whether it's fraud, crime, scandals, all these things are happening, and it's like crypto's just sitting there going, we have the solution for all those things. So I'm really excited about that and where we're headed. I want to ask you how important is, and I know it's getting off topic because I want to get back into this Japan stuff. You got a lot of great stuff that you sent me here as far as questions. I know that's going to be super advantageous on how it plays here in the U.S. as well. How big are these elections, and how do you feel when you start seeing all these presidents and everyone jumping on the bandwagon? And, you know, I want all the Bitcoin mining here to be in the U.S., and Trump's promising all these different things. And, you know, obviously with everything that's happened, obviously we want to see Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler hopefully be replaced. But how important are these elections during this time that we're in this bull run, during the time that Bitcoin ETFs just came out? Ethereum ETFs are being said that they could be approved anytime now. They're talking about Solana and XRP. How important are those elections?
Well, I think they are. And but I do think the inevitability of crypto is going to happen anyway.
Right.
And because I think, if you're arm wrestling politics and crypto, politics is going to want the votes, and
Right.
crypto is going to break the arm of politics, because it's either going to go that way or you're just going to have a revolt. And
Right.
if you think of it, there's tons of people, there's tons on the Democratic Party in the younger generation, and tons of the younger generation have crypto.
Right.
So you've just parted ways with how many voters who are hoping, I don't care if it's meme coins or utility coins, the prospect of hope that's built into when you see millionaires being made, it's better than the lotto.
Right.
Okay. Your chances are greater to make money in the crypto market.
That's right.
So you got all these kids, man, with all this hope, and then you're going to shoot it in the head. They're not going to vote for you. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So they're either going to, so I think crypto will break the arm of politics.
Yeah, I agree.
And you saw Biden, didn't we see him bend? Because he was acting as if first it was instant veto. Then it was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then you had this stuff. I don't know how you feel about Trump. I think he sticks his own foot in his mouth, and he can be harsh, but I love his decisions. I love his way of getting things done, and I think he's a smart man. About time we have a businessman be president.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have an environment that that if Trump gets in office, it's going to be a paved way, because he's okay with crypto.
Yeah.
And it's not against the dollar, it's for the dollar.
Yeah.
And then you got the Biden administration. What did he do? As soon as he got conviction on Trump and felt some political strength, then he's vetoing, right?
Right. That's exactly what no, you nailed it right there. And I think for me, I don't typically get too much into politics or religion, at least not while I'm on my show, just because, you might offend somebody. Oh my gosh, I like this person. I like, but I just want to be led by somebody strong. I want to be led by a great businessman who's going to make us strong again and make us feel proud to be an American. I mean, this last term has been embarrassing, to say the least. Once revered as a country of innovation, now we're like the laughing joke of the world, and it's sad, and that doesn't make me feel proud as a person, a businessman, or anything. You go back, you talk about this younger generation. Yeah, crypto is undeniable. I was talking to a friend of mine. Him and his son flew into Vegas. I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago. And they sat down and they came into town to talk about his son was going to be looking into like this solar thing or something. And they were going to go to this solar conference to learn about solar. And they came by the house because he's a good friend of mine. And I just he asked, he goes, man, what have you been doing? And I talked about crypto. His son went back home. They live in I can't remember what state. They flew back home. He didn't do anything they went to the conference, but they went back. He didn't do anything with solar. Mm-hmm. He buckled down and got into crypto and started learning how to, just trade and certain other things that he was doing. I don't know exactly what it is, but he said that his son has made over $300,000 in the last 3 months. And him and his girlfriend, 18 years old, they're out in Hawaii right now celebrating. Wow. And it's just like, you can't do that at McDonald's.
No.
Young people know better now. You're not fooling. And so the young people are the future. And so with the fact that you've got, me and you and everyone in between that understand this is not a Will, this is not a Tesla thing, or this is not a Airbnb. It's not something here in America. This is global, man. Yeah. And you're talking about at a time where it's being embraced. I think it's the greatest opportunity of our lifetime. I've never seen anything like it. I'm so excited. I've been in business for a long time, and just what it's been able to do for me and my family is just unbelievable. I want to ask you a personal question and get your feedback. I noticed the last time I saw Brad this talkative, Brad Garlinghouse, this talkative was right before the Judge Annalisa Torres ruling. Before that, he was very reserved, didn't say a whole lot. And right before that, I would say about 2 2.5 months before that, he started giving predictions that he could see this thing coming to an end in about 6 to 8 weeks. And sure enough, Judge Annalisa Torres, it's something that they know on that end. And I always say, for everything we know, it's just a fraction of what's really happening behind closed doors. And then after that, Brad got really quiet again, didn't want to get into the whole thing about talking about this or predictions. All of a sudden, he's talking about, man, we could see an Ethereum ETF in 2025, and he sees this whole thing with the SEC coming to an end by this summer. And I'm like, wow, he's getting there's something going on. That is, to me, is for a person who's really connected to everything. I feel super excited, like you said, and super bullish, because it just tells me things are happening. Even with this letter, it may not say everything, but it's telling me that something is happening. Even that ridiculous $2 billion request, I was excited when I saw that, not because of the ignorance of the SEC. It just told me something was happening. Talk about that, if you will.
Yeah, I did notice that in Brad Garlinghouse. Like, he gets more bold right before we get news, doesn't he? He starts covering it directly. Like last time when they got that initial settlement right before you're right. He got pretty bold, and he was hammering on the SEC, which he kind of was kind to him in a lot of ways, up until right before those decisions. And then he was hammering them. Then then they won. I think he knew he won.
Yeah, well, the stuff that was coming out of his mouth, he was like 6 to 8 weeks. And I'm like, who says that unless you know something?
Yeah.
And to even now say that he sees this whole thing ending by summer, and him and Monica Long both said XRP ETS could be something we see in 2020. It's like, who says that unless you know something we don't know? And that's what's exciting.
Yeah. Well, and let's look at the information. What is the judge looking at? They're looking at coming up with how much.
Yeah.
Honestly, how hard of a decision is that? So basically what she's doing is she's weighing the balances, because, it's the public setting where the judge in a public setting gets to arbitrate over a case and look like fairness was done. And so that's why the arguments matter, because if a great argument's done on one side and a great argument's done on the other, what argument wins? And then, because the sentiment of all the viewers of the justice system, the whole point of that justice system being public in our justice system is for the people to feel like, proper judgment was given. So all she has to do is balance these things and come up with a reasonable figure, which, going back to this letter, that looks like that's going to be around the settlement point.
Right.
It's going to be in that range. Now, it might be out of the range as far as you and me, because, $1 million to you and me is a lot.
Right.
But to Ripple, it's none of their money. They're just going to cash out a whole bunch of money, and probably, did we talk about this on air? Probably the price will pop enough to compensate for whatever loss there was.
Right. I agree with that. That would be awesome. Now, do you think that when a judge, and I don't know, because I'm not a judge, I don't know anything about the legal system, but as she's making this decision to try to figure out, obviously she saw $2 billion like all of us and probably laughed at home, right? And then all of a sudden it's got this 102, Ripple saying 10 million. Does a judge take in consideration some of the lies and scandals and other judges calling the SEC, calling them out for doing things unethical, and costing Ripple unnecessary money? Do they consider that, like, hey, this company's already spent $150 million for almost no reason? Do they look at that when they come up with that number? Will?
See, yeah, absolutely. Well, each judge is different, but as you know, I run a bail bond business across East Tennessee. And so we're always in front of judges, and I've seen judges, they'll telegraph through some cases what they're going to do in other cases.
Right.
And they also do consider all of the things known about the case, because they're into the public sentiment. They have to look like that they're doing properly according to the law and the people and the sides. So that absolutely matters, because it's part of it. It's the law, and it's also the sentiment of the people that proper judgment was given.
Right.
It's proper judgment when you see a heinous crime, a heinous murder. The public feels satisfied when there's capital punishment. There's always a percentage that doesn't, but the mass majority is they needed to take that guy out of society.
Right.
you know, and whether you end his life or not, he needs to be out of society.
That's right.
And so it satisfies the people. So what you have in this case is a ton of people not satisfied
Yeah.
with what the SEC's been doing. And then you got the judges voting against them. So I say, yes, absolutely. It matters, because she's going to see, the judges are the most powerful people in the land, because even a president is subject to what a judge might do.
Right.
You know, so the judges are the most powerful people in the world, and they do direct sentiment, and they do ward off lawsuits and change behavior by what they're going to do. So yeah, I think she's considering all of that, and I think she'll send a signal like these other courts have lately, you know, shot the SEC in the head and open statements saying, you're doing, you know, what y'all are doing here is not right.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this too, and let's have a little speculative fun, I guess. And I just want to pick Will Fix's brain here. XRP has been suppressed for years now, with corruption, with scandal, with this lawsuit, with all, you know, with hidden agendas, in my opinion, because they know exactly what it was created for. You hear people who are just super brilliant, like Rosie Rios, say the train has left the station. Brad Garlinghouse says, flip it a light switch.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about the fact that maybe this thing won't move slowly, like from 40 to 70 to $1 to, is it possible this lawsuit ends and then some things happen? And when those things really happen, because I don't think we're going to see a huge price increase. There's been many people who said that, but I think when it pops, it could be shocking, just because it's been a loaded spring. It's been a suppressed spring, that if there's a Wells Fargo, a Bank of America, this is not it's going to be used at BIS or whatever it is. If something like that is announced, is it possible we see something that happens maybe that we've never seen before, like a flip of a switch or a massive explosion to the upside? Because it seemed like it did that one time from cents to $3 and something, with nothing compared to what we have right now. Talk about that if you don't mind.
Oh man. Yeah, I do. I do not think it will slowly creep up.
Yeah.
Because there's too many people out there wanting to anticipate a big move. And I think a lot of the big money is standing back right now. It's kind of shady on, I don't understand completely what a bank can and can't do with crypto investment. But from what I understand, there's a little bit of a barrier there. If that barrier comes down, because you do see the banks buying tons of gold and silver. Gold and silver will be the ultimate, because it's not subject to, there is no third party.
Right.
You have it in your hand. It is gold. You can go anywhere in the world with gold and buy currency or sell gold. But I look at it as buying currency.
Right.
So gold and silver is the ultimate, because it's not regulated by anybody. You know, you can have it, and you can have $30,000 of gold and hold it in the palm of your hand. You know, it's not a big deal. But crypto's not necessarily that way. But let's say the banks find a way in, it's going to be all of a sudden and massive. And then the $3.60 run was completely retail.
Right.
So yeah, we're going to have retail, because everybody wants to, you know how they use the term priced in, something's priced in. That's because everybody got in before it happened. That hasn't happened to XRP yet, not on the masses. I mean, we're the minority that are involved in XRP. Crypto's not massively known. And probably the barrier of self-custody. Self-custody is a barrier for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they're used to just throw it in the bank, and they can go to the bank and there it is, right?
Well, what about this point, Will? The last time we saw XRP go up by retail, as you say, to $3.60, 80 cents, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That wasn't what the type of attention we got from institutions. I'm sorry, from like your BlackRocks, your Fidelities, your whatever.
True.
And there was a time where these guys wouldn't even touch Bitcoin until, I remember Michael Saylor said, because someone had asked him in an interview, like, how come? They're like, we always saw it, but we needed to maintain a certain level of like 20,000. And all of a sudden, I think they say MicroStrategy's average price is like 28,000 per coin right now, if you kind of go across the board. Well, is it possible now that these guys are in, they're like, you know, we're not going to be stupid twice. And that's why a lot of them have embraced Ethereum before the ETF. They're looking at Solana. They're thinking ahead, where before they saw Bitcoin and weren't even moving. Now they seem like they got a little bit more vision, a little bit more belief. They understand, like, I don't want to miss the boat because you're talking about billions and billions of dollars. So is it possible that this time could be different because now these institutions or these entities, these big corporate conglomerates are looking and saying, wait a minute, not again. We're not going to follow this and wait till it's $1,000 XRP. We're paying attention. We want to have a little foresight into this. Is it possible this next run with XRP is totally different?
Because I think so.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, man. I mean, I think you're spot on.
I got goosebumps even saying it myself. I'm sorry.
Isn't it? It does that to me too. You know, it's like, you know, I get super excited. But listen, what you just said is backed up by the fact that we do have an ETF now with Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin's the lead dog, whether you like it or not, and if you ever listen to Michael Saylor, you could become a Bitcoin maxi. The guy does such a great job explaining some things, you know, and then I get scared. I go, God, I don't want to be a Bitcoin maxi. My God, he makes a lot of sense.
That's right.
But he, but the fact that there's an ETF is a way in for banks. That is a way in for financial institutional money to come in. And if Bitcoin's going to lead, there's a big retail move that's going to happen, and the ETFs are going to really help it because there's no self-custody issues. There's none of that spooky barrier stuff. And if you're, I don't know that this is 100% true, but my thoughts are this. If you're not into crypto and you just see the ETF and you barely know a little bit about Bitcoin and everything, but you own some of the ETF, when you hear the news of XRP getting clarity, or you hear some of the news, the market loves to move for any reason whatsoever because there's an opportunity to have gains and make a sale and then make money in the volatility. So, you know, you can buy your calls and your puts and then adjust yourself on some kind of a straddle or strangle, you know, that you're doing on a options contract strategy.
Right.
And now I'm not sure that that Bitcoin has options yet on the ETF, but anyway, you're thinking in the vein of news. So, man, I think you're spot on. There's a lot of institutional money that will jump in and drive this market up, and everything's going to follow Bitcoin.
That's right.
Thing is, so sometimes when something follows Bitcoin, then Bitcoin retraces, and this doesn't retrace as much. So you can get moves up that might be the volatility of Bitcoin, but some of it sticks.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are sitting back, and instead of being as cautious as they were with Bitcoin, they're starting to realize it's almost like that. We talk about FOMO amongst us. I think it's FOMO amongst them as well. And I think a lot of these guys like Fink and Saylor, they got a lot of smart. You know, Kathy Woods talk about it all the time. She has a lot of. She said, I got people around me smarter than I am. And if those guys are that smart, and then now they're looking at crypto with the vision. Well, if I'm looking at the top, let's say, so many assets here. Let's say even the top 7 or 8. And I remove, let's say, the 2 stable coins, which is Tether and USD. That puts XRP at number 5. Well, I don't know if they're really paying too much attention to BNB because everything that happened with CZ and everything else. Yeah. So they got to be looking at, okay, hey, we're bullish as hell on Bitcoin. We got ourselves ready, and we're already heavily invested in Ethereum. Solana is the thing everyone's talking about. The next thing that we can't deny that's really the only legal non-security asset is XRP. And you know what? It actually does something amazing. I like I say, I'm excited about the things that I know, Will. I'm also excited about the things that I don't know. But there was a game that I used to play as a kid, and it used to excite the hell out of me when I was a little kid. As you start seeing it come to fruition, it was called Connect the Dots. And it was this little game that you would connect the dots, and all of a sudden you start seeing a picture. You go, oh my God, I see it. And that's how I feel right now. It's like I'm connecting the dots, and I'm going, oh my God, this just makes sense. I don't know if you ever feel like that.
No, man, I do about XRP. It's I heard somebody speak about the intrinsic value of XRP, and I was like, there's no intrinsic value to a digital coin, and I was wrong after I heard him talk about it. The intrinsic value of XRP, the value of what it is and what it can do, has a value in and of itself.
Yep.
Just imagine you could purchase XRP Ripples. Just imagine you could purchase it right now. right now, set up all over the world with everything that's going on, it's worth way more than the amount of money that's in it.
That's right.
It's worth way more. I mean, this is this is a global company that's getting ready to the whole world's change. This is way bigger than the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, the .com thing and some of these things we've seen, this is way bigger. I get so excited to think how many people are holding XRP. Man, think of it. There's people that have, man, maybe they only got $1,000 or $500 in XRP.
Yeah.
You know, but they're going to get their minds blown. I mean, life-changing money go out. I mean, even if they, you know, get a nominal increase and end up with $30,000-$40,000.
Right.
Well, it was many years into my life before I ever thought of having a lump sum cash of $30,000 or $40,000.
That's right. That's right.
And we're getting ready to see. Here's another thing, man, I think about too. Imagine how many Lamborghinis are going to be bought.
That's funny. That's funny. I know, right? That's funny.
People are going to buy. Now, it's the worst investment in the world is a car, in my opinion, unless it's a car that will hold its value.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy one, man, buy an old hot rod.
Yeah.
It'll increase in value. If you're going to pay cash, you know, buy an appreciating asset. You know, get a freaking a split window Corvette, you know, from the 50s. That's
you know one of the things that I do too well is I tend to kind of look at the industry when I'm looking at something like XRP, and I start looking at the people who are bullish on it. And one guy, I mean, there's a lot of people like yourself that I followed even way before you came on the show. Loved your mindset and what you stood for and your vision. There's several others. We talked about Zach Rector. There's many others. One guy I tend to pay attention to. His name is Jake Claver. And Jake is, you know, they got a lot of stuff going on. And Jake said, you know, he's gotten to the point where he's like, the only thing I hold is XRP because I know exactly what's going to happen. And look, I'm very well diversified, but it just kind of tell you that some of these people really know what they know. Yeah. And so I had an old saying back in the day is like success leaves clues. I don't got to know everything, but if I follow successful people 9 out of 10 times, I did pretty good for myself in life.
Yeah. I look at it the same way. When I found out everybody I knew that had money owned real estate, I was like, okay, there's a connection.
Right.
And what you were just saying reminded me of something that just left my mind.
No, you're fine. Take your time. Take your time.
I was going to say something. Oh, you were talking about following. You know, that you follow different people and
that's right.
And following people, you know, that make money and different things. And what I wanted to say, you'd mentioned a couple of YouTubers, and now this particular channel, I just love this guy and his channel, man. He's a deep diver. That's Maximus Crypto. And he's a good friend of mine, goes back years. But I have to give a shout out to him. He's a highly educated man, top of his class and everything that he did. And he runs a great channel and does great deep dives. And then this other guy I don't know at all. Let's see. And he talks about, is it in cash? Let's see.
While Will is figuring that out, I'm gonna have you guys do me a huge personal favor. Go over to Will's YouTube channel. It's actually Will Fix. You can find him on YouTube at Will Fix. Make sure you guys go over there. And I mean, he's got some incredible content. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notification bells. Also go over and follow Will. Let's get that up here for him as well. It's at Will Fix 7 on X. Incredible guy, brilliant mindset. Love all that he's doing, guys. Make sure you do me a huge favor and go do that. And also, if you want to see a replay of this, you can see it on X. You can also go over to our Crypto4Life YouTube, hit the subscribe notification bell, where you don't miss any of the incredible videos that we put out daily, the interviews. We go live each and every day, guys. So do me a huge personal favor and go over to our Crypto4Life page. Appreciate you guys in a major way. And shouts out to the 600 plus people that are watching on X and on YouTube. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much. So I want to get into
Cypher X.
Oh yeah. I got a call. He sent me a message for me to call him today.
Dude,
yeah, I got to give him a call.
He's a freaking investment genius. And
yeah, that dude's nice.
Yeah, and now I get nothing for talking about his show. Yeah, but tell him I said I am so impressed. If there's any way I could collaborate, have him on the show to help teach
for sure
some things, I would love that, man, because his I've been following it, looking at it, and some of it was spooky, and he goes into a lot of different things on how to make money with your crypto. And anyway,
yeah,
he's knocking it out of the park, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a call when we get out of here. He hit me yesterday in the evening and said call him today. So I'm glad you actually said it. You're just reminding me to call him back. So I'll make sure I give you a shout out and let him know that you guys want to connect. So yeah, we're still got some time here. If you don't mind, I'd like to go back in some of the significance of what Japan is doing right now with Ripple and how that could help us out as investors and really for the adoption of XRP Ripple across the board.
Well, the handwriting for me is on the wall with what's going to happen with the price of XRP, because what we're seeing there is, people are talking about mass adoption, and some of this, when it's in Japan, the typical person, me included, I look over a lot of stuff that's outside the USA. Okay. Because I'm looking, internally. We think we're all the ones with all the money. This country's the one with all the money, and da. So a lot of times the Japanese, like a couple of videos that I did on Japan, some of them did pretty good, some of them didn't. And but you don't get to know what the content is unless you watch the video. So people don't understand the impact that this Japan's going to do for the United States and for our money. For XRP, because it is the first mass adoption that's taken place, tokenization, the whole deal. So what we could do to prepare is right now, man, what is it at 48, 49 cents? That's a steal of a deal. Yep. Man, have a yard sale, right? Sell your old Nikes and, sell whatever. And every 50 cents will buy you a token. I'm not even kidding about that, man.
I said the same thing.
I am not kidding.
Could you imagine a 50 cents XRP? Something you bought for 50 cents a day could be possibly in the hundreds, if not $1,000. That's just crazy. Yeah. That's just crazy.
It's insane. Throw some money at it. Get some money in it. Until you feel satisfied. Everybody has to go buy their own deal.
But I don't want to cut you off. But what's so crazy about what you said? Most people who've been a homeowner or adult, they've got something in their garage that's been sitting there for 5 or 10 years that has done nothing. It's an old bread maker. It's an old barbecue grill. It's a set of tires that was on a car they sold 15 years ago. Get rid. And again, this is not financial advice, but you're right. I don't know how many people walk in their garage and think, you know what, I can get rid of that and make it do something for you. I mean, if I'm gonna take a chance on something, I'm gonna take a chance on something that's gonna sit there with spider webs anyway, and see if all these things that people are talking about are right. Man, that's brilliant what you said, and I've said that before as well.
Okay, so too bad we can't start a national yard sale for XRP Day, right?
That'd be awesome.
We pick a weekend, everybody has a yard sale, and we shock the world, and we send our price of XRP up.
Can we do that? I mean, could like we do that on our show? Say, hey, we want to have a what is it like? We're like a summer. We're in June right now, so maybe like a July. We talk about 4th of July. Maybe somewhere right after that, like a yard sale for freedom. A yard sale for freedom. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Hey,
and then our show could be that day, our own yard sale. We're selling our own widgets and things from the 70s, the smokeless ashtray from Ronco.
Hey, man.
Or the seal a meal, this as seen on TV junk that's sitting on our shelf. And
that's right. Hey, the funny thing about it, I talk about, and I want to talk a little bit about this. I joke with my audience, the Crypto4Life family, and it's going to be amazing the amount of people. I always said I get a second phone because I got my main number, and I got a phone that I joke around saying I just got a phone where I'm going to be giving that number out to the people who are going to start calling once this thing goes crazy. Because people phones are going to be blown up with regret with what happened. Because in 2021 we had that big surge. I had people reaching out to me, man, that I hadn't talked to for years just because they knew I was in crypto. I can't imagine what this next massive bull run, because we've never seen a bull run quite like this, not with the type of adoption that's in place. And I can only imagine that people's cell phones are going to get pretty hot with phone calls.
Yeah. You know, what's going to become hot is proper exit strategy.
Yeah. That's right.
And people, you know, and there's been, I mean, people are trailing along. I understand the endless hope for years people have had in XRP and some of these different coins, and how it can wear. I mean, even the Bible says hope deferred makes the heart sick. It absolutely does.
Right.
It's deferred. But we can't let that misguide us. We can't follow the lead of discouragement. We need to follow the lead of where our faith is sending us, believing in XRP.
That's right.
And building for that future. So some of these guys, like the what's the guy's name on that show, CypherX?
Oh, I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, you just,
well, besides being cool as all get out,
right.
You know, he is, besides just being an awesome human being, you know, and he looks like he's a genius. I mean, he's speaking, just what a great guy. He's got some exit strategy stuff, or if your exit strategy isn't even to get out, to stay in, he's definitely got that to make money and stay in the thing. But there's gonna be tons of people be like, man, I'm just gonna take my money and run. Hey, that's great. You made money.
Now what?
You know, do your thing.
Yeah. Now what? Exactly.
Yeah. But I've been considering talking to that same guy. It's interesting that and he called you. I'm jealous. I'm like, why? He didn't call me.
That's funny. Well, no, we'll set up, because he's talking about him and one of his counterparts, Aquaman. They want to come on my show, and because I had him on before, but he wants to come on and collaborate on some things. So I'll see. I can see if we can maybe pull you into that as well.
Oh wow, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely,
what a blessing.
Yeah.
See, I want to be up there with everybody. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget about Will.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm telling you, I'm gonna talk to him today, and I'm gonna definitely bring it up, see if we can do something.
I'll wear dreads if I have to.
Hey, that's so funny. That'll definitely get us some clicks. That's funny. But no, I definitely appreciate you being on, and I think we've had anything else you want to cover before we get up out of here.
Well, man, I just got to say, as a host, you're just fantastic. It feels so natural. And I can tell what a great person you are, and really just to know you, man, I really appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
You know, reaching out, and I love seeing your channel, you know, going so well with the people you interview. I mean, I expect one day I'm going to pull it up. You're going to have Donald Trump on the show, you know, and he's going to be going, hey, you're going to convince him, and he's going to be like, I'm buying some XRP. You know?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
You're knocking it out of the park, man. And
thank you, my friend.
I think the world of you. I think you're a great fella, and you really host well. I feel, because I get nervous, man, you know, especially like a live show. I get, you know, you wouldn't, you know, I just do, you know, so, but you totally bring people to relax, and it's a gift, man.
I appreciate you.
Thank God for you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you so much. And if you don't mind talking about some of the days that you actually go live on your show, where people can find you.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't hardly do live shows. Me and Crypto Max had done a couple live shows.
Okay.
And he'd be a cool person to have on your show, by the way.
Crypto Max. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't normally do live shows. When I do, it's with him, and I don't know why I just hadn't jumped into that. I've only done one live show on my own, but they can just find me on my channel.
Okay.
You know,
and how often do you post?
I try to post every day.
Okay.
I didn't the last couple days. I was going to post yesterday about tokenization, but I saved it so that I wouldn't spend that, and I wanted to spend that on your show because of the synergy that I get to have you, and you get to have me. And now when I post this, I'll probably post this same show on my channel. Absolutely. I get to say my part, and then have you on there too.
I appreciate it.
Because I want to try to make, when I'm on your show, be the best show that you get.
That's right. Hey.
I want thousands and thousands of clicks on your show.
I love it. I love it. No, I appreciate it, man. And I know everyone here. I had a couple of guys that text me. One of my buddies tried to call me this morning right before we came on, and he's worth tens of millions of dollars. You know, has various businesses throughout Vegas and California. And he goes, "You got Will Fix back on again?" Oh man, that guy. He just definitely thinks the world of you. So shouts out to Myco, one of my best friends for 30 years. So
thank you, Myco.
Definitely that. So guys, look, I appreciate you guys for being here. Now we're almost approaching 700 people live, both on X and on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys tune in. We go live each and every day, and you can see postings of videos that Will's putting out each and every day. Also, go follow him again on his X page. It is
Will Fix 7.
At Will Fix 7. You can see him and his lovely wife there. Amazing guy, and I'm definitely going to be connecting with you and CyberX. We'll get together and have like a little reunion or something like that.
I love it. Love it, man.
Guys, we'll appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Until next time, it's your boy James, aka 6AJ. Peace.